Hello, it's Nancy from the County Library, and today's STEM activity requires some adult supervision because it involves fire. Today we are going to explore hybrid rocket engines. So let's take a look at a couple real-life engines. This is the Saturn V rocket. It was used in the Apollo missions when we visited the moon. It is about 1,000 times the size of what we're making today. This is the Falcon 9 rocket. It was made by SpaceX, and it's the first commercial space rocket to be used to launch humans into space. The Falcon 9 is about half the size, it seems, of the Saturn V missile. It's about 500 times the size of the rocket that we're going to make today. For today's experiment, we're going to use hydrogen peroxide, which you might have in your medicine cabinet, some rigatoni or ziti pasta, something that has a flat bottom is what we're looking for, some yeast, and a mason jar where the lid has a hole in it that's 1/8 of an inch hole, okay, and a lighter. So for our experiment, we're going to take this ring off of our mason jar. We don't need that, and the lid for the moment. So since rocket engines use oxygen and a fuel, that we need to supply that. Our oxygen is going to come from hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide is like a water molecule, but with extra oxygen. So we're going to take our hydrogen peroxide and we're going to fill our jar until it is about 2/3 to 3/4 full. Maybe about there. And then we're going to add some yeast. We're going to add about 1/4 teaspoon of yeast and do a quick mix of that. And you can see that it's starting to bubble already. We're going to quickly put the lid on. And we're going to take our pasta, which is our fuel, and place it over the hole. Now I'm going to try to light it on fire. So what's happening? The enzymes in the yeast that we added act as a catalyst that causes the hydrogen peroxide to release oxygen. Now the little hole that we put in the lid forces the oxygen into one place and it comes up into the pasta. The pasta is acting as our solid fuel. So we have a liquid fuel, oxygen, and a solid fuel, the pasta, and that makes it a hybrid rocket engine. Now this rocket engine is not going to take off because the weight of the oxygen is too much, and there's also not like a nozzle or something to direct the thrust. So it's not going to propel itself into space for us today, but it's the same concept that other advanced rockets are made of. This will eventually just burn itself out. You'll be able to see that as it burns down, the breaks in the pasta cause some of the oxygen to come out through the sides, and then we're going to see some smoke. Well, that was fun. Thank you for joining me for today's experiment. It's Nancy from the County Library. Join us at thecountylibrary.org.